Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back to VM Nation, guys. This is going to be a fun episode, but first I want to say thank you for coming back. Thank you for always supporting us. As you guys see, I'm not dressed like the man in black today. We're actually celebrating. We came out with some brand new swag, t-shirts, hats. My brand new coffee just hit the market, Vertical Momentum Coffee. For people that missed that Army mud, it's back. But first of all, like you said, my name is Richard Kaufman, also known as the Comeback Coach. Thank you for coming back. We are voted now the #1 veterans resiliency podcast in the world. So I just want to say thank you. It's because of you and guests like my brother Sam. We're going to be talking everything real estate. Any questions you have real estate, because the real estate market is hot. And if you're renting, you're paying somebody else's mortgage. So we'll talk about that later. Sam, my brother, what's going on?
Just living the dream, my friend. Just living the dream.
So you're living out there in beautiful Valencia, California, soaking up the rays?
Absolutely. I know you on your on the East Coast is having some challenges with the weather. Here we're like 66 degrees. The sun's out, so I don't want to rub your nose in it too bad.
So the struggle is real.
The struggle is real.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you come from, where you grew up, and what kind of little boy was Sam?
Sure. I grew up in North Hollywood with my mom, single mom, and my brother, and I would say most of us have a dysfunctional family, so it was a dysfunctional family, and 12-step family, and I'll keep it at that. I don't want to get too personal because my mom will probably be watching this, but growing up in that manner made me the person who I am. It made me strong. It made me focused. It made me understanding, impatient, intolerant. And my wife sometimes says I'm a little bit too tolerant for some of my clients, and I should be a little bit tougher. However, I remember buying our first house. You want the person on the other side to explain things to you, to understand it. It's a big decision. You spend a lot of money for a home, and you want to make sure you're making the right decision. And I have a couple that I'm working with right now, also a hero, and they were referred 3 levels deep from another hero that I helped, an Iraqi war hero. And it's taken a little while to find them something. We have their house on the market, and we just got a cash offer, $40,000 above asking. And the hard part is right now is finding a replacement home, because there's not a lot of houses on the market. So we put some things in the contract to protect them. Since it's an investor, it's a perfect storm, meaning that they're coming in, they're going to rent it out anyway. So we put some negotiation tools inside the counteroffer that make sure that they don't lose their house if they don't find something. So we have there's a contingency in the counteroffer that we use to protect them.
So now, what were your interests when you were in high school?
Oh, high school. Sorry. I have ADD, so I have to apologize. And I actually learned about that when my children got diagnosed. So when I was in high school, I had no idea what was going on. I was an okay student. I had quite a few relationships. I didn't understand why I had so many relationships when I was young. I didn't understand why I couldn't keep a job. I didn't understand why I did the spontaneous things that I did. And then when I grew up, it was like the light bulb went on. It's like, oh my gosh, if I would have known back then what I know now, that I'm dealing with something that's a serious issue for a lot of people.
Yeah, and I'm one of them, so I get it.
So in high school, I played in the band. I was in the marching band. of course, I was a tall, thin stream being. I got picked on for glasses, but who didn't get picked on in high school? At least back in our days, if somebody picked on you, you took it on the back. You went and did a fight, and it was done.
Yeah.
You got respect for fighting back. So,
Not today.
not today. They follow you back through your social media.
Yeah.
They taunt you. They talk things behind your back, right in front of you, because
Yeah.
a lot of times you don't know who is saying what.
Yeah.
So, in many ways, it was better back then. You just take them in the back and show them that you're not afraid of them, and then they stop picking on you.
Yeah.
I had a guy that followed me home, and I leaned him over a fence and I whacked him a good one, and then he, even to this day, when I ran into him during my reunion, he's like, it's all cool, we're good, right? Because I'm a lot bigger now.
It's never too early for an ass whipping. So just
absolutely.
So now, having ADD, and what was the decision to join the military? And talk to me about why you joined and what your recruiting story was like.
Well, I Sergeant Windover over in Simi Valley. I was living in Riverside County. My mom got remarried, and we lived in Simi Valley at the time. And they're all recruiting in junior high and high school, and they're following with you. And then I'm like, you know what? That's a great idea for college money. What's not to like? You go serve your country, you do what's right, and after you're out, you get college money, so you can go to college. Because my family didn't have the money for college, so I wanted to go to college and I wanted to serve my country. So actually, I signed up. Actually, my mom had to sign me up when I was 17 for me to go. I did the delayed entry program, and
me too.
Yep. So she signed me up when I was 17, and I went in when I was legal. Right after high school, and it was crazy going to South Carolina in the summer. Oh my gosh, I should have thought about that before.
Oh, you went to Relax in Jackson?
I went to Relax in Jackson, Tank Hill, and yeah.
Know it very well. I actually retired out of Fort Jackson, so
that's funny.
I'm a Gamecock for life. Gamecock. So tell me, what was it like coming from California? For me, it was a big culture shock, because here I'm a loudmouth punk and from Jersey, and now I'm with all these people from all parts of the world. Now, I've met people that were strong, but when I went to basic, I met people that were country strong. There's a big difference between strong and country strong. So talk to us about what your experience is like going through basic and meeting all different people from all different walks of life.
It's pretty amazing, especially when you meet somebody that's speaking Creole, and it's like, is he speaking English? And I mean, he was a nicest guy in the world, but it's like, is he speaking English? I don't understand him. It's like a French combination. Very strange, but it's like he would talk, and I'm like, yeah, whatever he said.
Now with your ADD, did you take to the military easily?
I had some challenges. It was the hardest thing about having ADD and not realizing it is not understanding why you're doing what you do, and just you do things just on the spur of the moment, and you get in trouble. You wind up doing more push-ups than anybody else. You wind up doing KP. You wind up doing all the things that you get yourself in trouble. But I mean, that's just part of growing, because 17, 18 years old, you're just still a kid. You're still wet behind the ears. You have no idea what life is. And being thrown into barracks with 60 people, that's culture shock. That's serious culture shock. It's like, who are these people? Do I trust them? why they look at me so funny. And it's like, it is culture shock. If you want, I tell people, if you want to grow up quickly, go to the military, because you have to learn how to deal with so many different personalities and so many different expectations, and leave your personality at the door, because they don't want your personality there. They want to break you down to build you up. That's what the military is there. They want to break you down to build you up. So they have a fine oiled machine that, God forbid, you go into a situation where it's life or death. You do what you're trained. And that has nothing to do with your personality. That has to do with survival, how to survive. So their job is to break you down to build you up. So if you go into, anybody out there, you go in the military, don't take it seriously. It's all a game to break you down to where they need to break you down to build you back up, to make you a stronger person. So life is not over.
Now,
when you're in the military, even though you feel like it when you're a young kid, you feel like life's over. It's like, oh my God, what did I do?
Now you went in what, 89?
Yeah, 89.
So now that was peacetime?
Yes.
Okay.
It was desert. It was almost desert shield, desert storm time. It was like within that period.
So now, obviously you got hurt. Of course, being so tall, I'm sure that running with rucks and doing agony and misery and doing all, I'm sure that didn't help your knees whatsoever.
Doing the cockroach didn't help either.
And then of course, like I just read something today, back when we were I went in from 86 to 2012, that, when I first got in, it was, rub some dirt on it, take some Motrin, you'll be all right.
Change your socks, change your underwear. Here's water. Make sure you drink water.
Unfortunately, like for you, like what you went through with your knees, it's also, I've talked to a lot of veterans that have back problems. Mm-hmm. It's really hard for them to find out what the problems are, unless they go through, now we have the MRIs where they can 3D and everything. But back then it was like, all right, I don't see any structural damage, so you must be okay. And
exactly. You're faking it. You're faking it. Go to sick call.
You can have a torn ACL, MCL, PCL, but you're faking it. So of course they're going to dog you even harder. And then you're totally shot. Is that what happened to you?
Yes, absolutely. That's what happened. It was like, I would be, my basic was Fort Jackson. So you got the humidity. And then I went to Fort Huachuca, Arizona. So you got to dry. And those two temperatures are not real good when you have an injury. Because, at Fort Huachuca, that's a desert that goes from cold to heat fairly quickly. And then, that causes arthritis. That causes the inflammation of the knees. I developed a condition called chondromalacia, which is the deterioration of the cartilage in the kneecap.
Yep.
So I'm going almost bone on bone, or cartilage is shredded. So it's like cold weather, forget about it. hot weather, forget about it.
So now, after 9 months, everybody realizes, all right, this is a wrap. This ain't working either way. So, now you're 19 years old, maybe around 20. And, now what do you do? Because I find out when people get out of the military, no matter who you are, I've interviewed, Navy SEAL commanders, Navy SEALs, Delta Force Rangers, no matter who you are, eventually your time in the military is going to run out.
Absolutely.
And, a lot of times, like for me, when I got out the last time, I lost my mission. I lost my career. And like my friend Sergeant Nick talks about, once you step off base, the military doesn't give a shit about you. And your phone stops ringing. So all of a sudden you're a man on an island and don't know where to go, especially at a 19, 20-year-old kid. So what was your transitioning like?
Well, when I got out, the first thing I needed to do was make sure that my knees were okay. So first, my goal and mission at that time was just to make sure I'm okay, because I got out on a medical discharge and I was like, okay, well, what is going on here? What are they not seeing? What don't they understand? Because I didn't understand it either. It's like I'm going to the doctor almost every day, and what is going on in there? Why am I in so much pain? And it wasn't I wasn't faking it. It was real and it was serious. And so my first mission was to get out and get my surgery done. So I got my surgery done, and they found out that I had the chondromalacia, and my parents had hit their goal. Well, not their goal. They paid their deductible for the year. So I actually was fortunate enough to go to a civilian doctor. So I felt a little bit more comfortable with that, because the military didn't know what they were doing with me. So
No. No, military knows everything. Like I love my, like we have a big VA here, and then we got the satellite offices. The
yeah,
satellite offices are amazing. I love them. But when I got to go to the VA for big VA for anything, I'm like, oh my God, it's kind of
yep.
like, oh,
The big VA is awful. I mean, we have a huge one here on Wilshire. You know which one I'm talking about. You've been out here. Um, they're getting better. They're working on it. There's some issues out there that first of all, the government needs to stop doing those burn pits, and I don't even have to go any further than that. I think it's a disgrace. I think we need to. I think all of us as a veteran community really need to get together and talk about that, and really go into detail with what is going on with that, and not do those documentaries, and really start writing our congresses. Start writing. I mean, whoever you need to tell, that's a serious issue. People are dying from that, and the military is finally doing some type of connection with it, because it's serious.
Now, were you able to, because you got medically discharged, were you
Mm-hmm.
able to use your GI Bill?
I did chapter 31. I did the chapter 31. I got a vocational rehabilitation. I was able to use that.
So now what was that like? Because you're going from, I mean, you're still a kid, you're still 19, 20 years old, but
Yep.
you're coming from a background for the last 9 months where everything is laid out. Everything is SOP. Everybody, you train to standard, you don't train to time. And then
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden you're going to college and you're looking around, you're like, we're all the same age, but I've been through so much more shit than these people around me. What was that like?
Well, you got a lot of people that um, have the "oh me" mentality, and their parents are paying for everything for them, and they don't take it seriously, and they don't. You know, I I went in seriously and said, you know what, the government's paying for this, and I better take this seriously. If I don't take this seriously, it's like, well, why am I here? So a lot of what I learned in the military is just keep going and be the best.
So what did you
And
take? What did you sign up for?
I did computer sciences. I went for my associates in computer networking systems. And then I continued on and did my bachelor's for information systems security.
So
So
now you're doing all this stuff. Did you start moonlighting, doing real estate, or how did that come about?
I think at that time I had already got my real estate license. I earned my real estate license actually when I did a few things before that. I drove a Schwann's truck when me and my wife, uh, let me go back a little bit. I had a motorcycle accident, and after the motorcycle accident, I met my wife, and my wife's a nurse. So was kind of interesting. She wouldn't let me drink a cup of coffee because I couldn't hold a coffee cup. I had a dislocation in my shoulder, so I couldn't hold a coffee cup. So we started dating, and at the time I was driving a cab, and when I was driving a cab, she had to go out with me because she didn't see me otherwise, because it was a 12-hour shift or 18-hour shift. So along the lines of, you get out into the military, right? And you get odd jobs. Tell me a military person that doesn't do security at one time in their career,
Yeah,
right?
because it's in your wheelhouse, and you're like, I really don't have to train for it. I've already been training.
Exactly. So, you start with security, and at the time they were replacing the gas lines in the gas stations. So sometimes I was sitting there guarding a hole, making sure nobody fell in it. So I did security. I drove a cab. Um, then I went into Schwann's. I worked for Schwann's, and that's delivering food to door to door. Those big yellow trucks. I'm sure you've seen those.
Yeah. But wait a minute, you have a degree?
Yes.
And what happened with getting into the computers field?
I did it. I did it for about a year. And see, this is where the ADD comes in. I did it for about a year, and I realized that I like the people better. I like dealing with people better. When you're growing up, when you're in the process of learning about yourself, you learn, thank God, you learn who you are. And I do still do stuff with computers. Of course, real estate business, you still do a lot in technical stuff. I do a lot of technical stuff. So I have knowledge of how computer systems work and search engine optimization, all those things. So I'm really, really, versed at dealing with that. So it does help me in my business now. But I had worked for a gentleman that thought he was still in the service, and he ran his team on his computer systems just like that. And he was hard, and he was, and I wasn't as fast as I needed to be we were doing desktop support, and you would have to go in and you'd have to help people there's a company that realtors actually go to this company, and you do online training with this company. And I was desktop support. I'd have to go into the back office. I'd have to go and download the test and do, and sometimes walk people through how to turn off their pop-up blocker, because they go in and they go to take the test at home, and their pop-up blocker was on. And companies like, I'm trying to think what the name of the company, Publix.
Yep.
There's a company called Publix. And before they even get hired, they have to do a test. They have to do a assessment test. So I get calls from Publix that they didn't know how to turn off their pop-up blocker. It sounds like such a simple thing, but for a lot of people, it isn't. So I'd have to walk them through how to turn off their pop-up blocker. And you had a certain thing you had to do, how often you had to turn over people. And I'm not just going to hang up on people when they're still having challenges. I walk them through, and then sometimes I'd have to take over the computer and actually deal with the computer system. But my supervisor didn't like how fast I was, and
Well, it sounds like you're like me. You have a lot of empathy. You sound
absolutely.
Like, so now, like for me,
but he didn't.
Now I did. I took the real estate. I signed up for the real estate course.
Mm-hmm.
I crushed it through the whole way. I didn't take the final exam because I was told when I was younger that I would always suck at math, and that always stuck with me. So I was afraid I was going to fail. So I never took the test. So guys, if you're out there just finish it. If you're taking the test, just finish it, because you've already got it down pat. Don't be like me to where you ace I aced every portion of it until it came time to do the final, and then I never took the final. I chickened out. So guys, don't be like
Richard, I hate math. I hate math. That's why you have lenders. I hate math. That's why you have lenders. And there's not that much math on that test.
well, I
So
learned
so we will take care of you, Richard. I want you on my team. Let's do it. Let's rock it.
So talk to us a little bit about, how you got into real estate. And, everybody thinks, well, I can't get into real estate now because the market is so hot. But I just talked last week, I interviewed Sharon Lechter from Rich Dad Poor Dad.
She's awesome.
And she talks about, where there's a will, there's a way. Sometimes you have to go around the bush to get into some of these properties, but you don't have to go the traditional way all the time, right?
Exactly. Yeah, you can find these properties on foreclosure list, on notice of default list, on absentee owners, which are people that own several properties that are like, say, holiday properties. And they get to the point and they realize that they got a lot of equity and then they want to sell it. So they need somebody to do that. But let me go back to how I got into real estate. I got into real estate from I was driving a Schwann's truck, right? And I'm going to back way up. I was driving a Schwann's truck. No, let me go before Schwann's. I'll go back to me and my wife wanted to have kids, right? And we were unable to. My wife ran into somebody at the in vitro clinic. And she said to my wife, she says, this company pays for, not IVF, but pays for artificial insemination. Why don't you have your husband try get a job there? That was Schwann's. So I worked for Schwann's because it was paying for artificial insemination. Then we decided to go one step further. We decided to do IVF, in vitro fertilization, because we lost 3 babies while we were trying. And we said, you know what? It was really real estate was awesome. I was making good money. I had a team. Everything was just heading in the right direction. So we decided we were going to do IVF, and IVF is like $18,000, $25,000. It's not cheap. And we decided if we were going to invest, to have babies, to have girls, or to have, we didn't care what they were at the time. It was like, we just want to have kids. So she went back to the same clinic and ran into the same girl that told us to go to Schwann's and get a job there because they had IVF. So she was talking about getting a real estate license. Her name is Tamara Tanioli, and she's awesome, and she's a great person. And I hope she sees this. We love you, Tamara. She's just awesome. And she's also a nurse, like my wife. So I went over to KW, and I went and get my real estate license because she said, you should go get your real estate license. Things are hot. Things are hopping. So the same girl at the same place told my wife, and then we did it. We jumped on it. And then when we had the babies were 211, 215 in the NICU. We lived in Banning, which is a little hole-in-the-wall city. You've heard of Morongo Casino, right?
Yep.
It's like the 2 exits before the Morongo Casino. It's mostly a senior area. There's a lot of big senior population. But my wife's water broke at 30 weeks, and she went to San Gorgonio Hospital. And through the grace of God, the person that was on call had delivered quints before. And this was just a doctor on call. And who knows what we would have gotten if this guy wasn't on call. So he delivered it in this little podunk hospital, and the team from Loma Linda Hospital, which is one of the best, I don't know if in the world, but in the best in the area in California, they delivered, they did baby Jessica. Remember the baboon heart? They did that. And I think they actually did the first heart transplant besides the baboon one. I think they did another one before that.
So how many kids you have now?
Just the twins, just those girls right there.
Okay. So you're working now. Now the pressure's on because you got kids. Now you got because I didn't feel pressure until I had my daughter, and then when now I got 3 kids, and you're like, all right, I got diapers, food. Everybody's got to eat. We all got to stay warm. So what was it like being in the real estate market, and then bam, 2008, 2009 hits? What was it?
It was insane. It was insane. It was rocking. It was rocking. It was rocking. And then all of a sudden, it was like all the people that you helped all these people get into these houses. And unfortunately, a lot of people that were getting houses at the time were also buying toys. They were buying jet skis. They were buying, oh my gosh, RVs. They were buying all these different things because they didn't have any money involved in these transactions. It was zero down. They were no income, no asset. They were NINA loans, and you didn't have to prove anything. If you could fog a glass, you could buy a house, and that was the start of the issue that we had, because there was no blood in the game. There's no blood in the game. Nobody had anything to lose for walking away from their houses because they didn't have any money in it.
And I think, no matter what you do, if you don't have any skin in the game, you're not going to do anything. It's kind of like, I can give you somebody a free gym membership. They'll never go. But once you have a gym membership that's like $150, $200 a month, it's coming out every month. Now if you don't go, your wife's looking at you like, all right, guy, we're paying $200 a month. You either get to the gym or we're going to cancel it because you have skin in the game, right?
Absolutely.
So then how did you pivot? How long did it take you to pivot? Because now we're eventually going to talk about now what pivoting was like in the last 2 years. But what was that first pivot like in 2008 and 9?
2008, 9, we actually, there was a lot that was going on personally. My wife's dad passed away. Her brother-in-law lived in Valencia, and we had bought a house in Beaumont, and then the market adjusted, and I was going to go back to school. And my wife got an offer to work in Valencia, out of Valencia, because she's a nurse, and they always want nurses, and it all came at the same time. For a while, she actually stayed home with the girls, and I just did my real estate. But things had adjusted, and you had to adjust with it. And I had an opportunity to go back to school, and I was excited to go back to school and to learn a trade, something I could use. And so we moved back to Valencia. We moved to Valencia to be closer to my wife's family, and because her dad was sick, and it was important to be close to her family at the time. So we moved to Valencia. I started at ITT Tech over in Sylmar, and started going to school. And of course, I kept my real estate license, and I did some real estate on the side. But I mean, my main focus was to get a good grade and to graduate. And I could always have my real estate. I could always do my real estate. That's not a big deal. It's always there for me. So I focused on my school, and my wife worked, and we kind of we juggled the girls' childcare. Most of the time, we handled all the childcare ourselves uh, because of all the craziness that's going on with kids, and I don't trust anyone out there. Um, so she got a job. She got a good job doing workers' comp, and I went back to school, and I went to school at nights. And then between both of us, we juggled everything. We were able to afford everything. We were able to. I was able to go to school, and babies were little at the time when I first started going to school. So it was really flexible. We, like I said, we bounced things off of each other, and we made sure that we were able to cover the kids, taking care of the kids, and it's all about the kids. It's about the children.
Yeah.
One of my friends way back when said it's for the children, and I could kick them now.
Yeah. So now, did you feel the urge to get back into real estate full time, or did
I wanted to. Well,
did the kick in yet? Did you get bored yet?
I enjoyed going to school. I enjoyed learning. I enjoyed helping. Actually, I mentored a lot of people in school, and I didn't realize. I mean, we would have study classes, we'd have study sessions, and I would help people pass tests and stuff like that. And that's about the same time that I realized that I had ADD when I was going to school, because at the same time we were testing the girls and found out that they were suffering from it. And one of my daughters still, I mean, they both suffer from it. One of my daughters has some pretty good anxiety, so she kind of suffers from it in other ways of it. So,
but for me, because I have ADD, but as I became an adult and realized what it was, I kind of harnessed its power and used it as a superpower. Because I ran a general nutrition center for 30 years, so I would be able to have this conversation with this person and this everything at once. So I kind of use it as my superpower instead of using it as the negative. I use it. How can I harness it? You know what I mean?
Absolutely, and that's what I did. I wasn't medicated. I didn't take anything major. I took what was called GABA, and what GABA is, it's a natural thing that's in your brain, and it helps you stay calm.
I take it every day.
It helps you stay calm, and it helps you focus. And I would take it before my test. So I could keep calm and pass my test. So GABA was a miracle. And once I found GABA, it was like, oh, wow, this is awesome. I do take some other stuff that's prescribed through the VA, but that's from other issues I have to deal with. I mean, we all deal with our own issues, and we figure out how to get through them.
So what is your, now in the real estate market, we're talking about how, for me, like I used to get aggravated, where I live in a certain area. I'm not going to say its name, but people would, they have a $60,000 Lexus outside. They're wearing like $10,000 worth of jewelry, got the newest iPhone, the newest Jordans, and then they go into a rented apartment. And I just never understood that until I read that book by Sharon and
Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yep. And they talk about how they're not making any more land.
Nope.
So get your little piece of the property.
Hawaii, it's slowly growing, but it's going to be like 6 generations down where that land's going to be able to be built on.
So for me, one day I got home and me and my wife were doing our bills, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm paying, like in New Jersey, it was very expensive. I think my rent was like $1,600 or $1,700 a month, and I'm like, but if I use the VA loan, I can move in with no money down, no PMI, and spend maybe $300 more a month to own our own home than to rent. Now, so like I said, I love the VA. I love that they're so thorough. with the home inspections. I mean,
Yep.
you can't hear a mouse fart. They make sure everything is right before you buy that house. So talk to us. We were talking a little bit earlier about VA loans and veterans. So talk to us about that process.
Well, the cool thing is, if with a VA loan, you can save if you have a service connected disability and you have to check for your area. Um, if you have a service connected disability, like I'm 50%, you don't have to pay funding fee. And funding fee could be 2% of your purchase price. It could be, I mean, it's a decent amount of money. So saving that funding fee, when a veteran realizes they don't have to pay that, oh my gosh, it's like, you become their hero. And it's amazing. The VA loan is the best out there. We need more good veteran inspectors. If you guys are looking to become inspectors, we need good veteran inspectors. Go that way, because a lot of them are retiring right now. So, public service announcement: we need more veteran inspectors.
So, like you said, I'm here on the East Coast, you're West Coast. How is the market? Like I said, I had a friend. He listed his house last Friday, 8 p.m. By 3 o'clock, they're doing paperwork. It was just like that quick. But now, I also hear a lot of people have problems selling their home because they don't do some of the basic touch-ups. Maybe just cutting the grass, really nice, maybe just staging the house right, or also, just trying to a little touch up paint here and there. It doesn't cost you a lot, but a lot of people don't do it. But then when their house doesn't sell, they're like, I don't know why it's not selling.
Exactly. And actually, if you go to, if any readers go to, or watchers go to sam661.com, I have a few books in there on how to prepare your home to sell. All I have to do is click on the link, and it's an ebook. So if they have any questions, they can connect with me. And also, if you're a hero in the community, police, fire, nurse, teachers, government agencies, nonprofits, go to that. And what I could do for you is, I guess something buzzing around in here. Sorry. What I could do for you is I connect veterans and heroes to people that give back 20% of their gross in other states. And I don't take as in real estate, we're allowed to take a referral fee for referring agents. So if somebody needs an agent in another state, I can help them. And of course, I get something for my troubles. I mean, it's not a huge amount, but as a real estate agent, and this is another advantage of getting a real estate license, Richard. If you have your real estate license, you can say you refer somebody to me in California, you can get 25% referral fee just for saying, Sam, I got this person coming to California. Can you help them? 25% in your pocket, my friend.
Doing nothing
for just keeping me in mind and just sending it to me. And it's a great option just to have your real estate license. And you don't even have to do much. I mean, you could refer a couple, a year, and make a little side income. So we're going to get you your real estate license, Richard. We're going to work on you.
No pressure.
I am on a mission.
So now talk to us about what you're doing now, because I think we've been friends. I think it should be almost about coming up on a year.
Yeah. Clubhouse. We
met up on Clubhouse.
And incredible veteran groups. We need to get those veteran groups going again. There's a lot of vets out there that really need the connection, the camaraderie. And when Clubhouse first started, we had some really good veteran groups. I think we need to talk to DP about getting some of those going again. Because veterans out there, they really need the connection. And I really enjoyed those groups too.
Yeah, it just seemed like it just fell off. It kind of got where all these weird rooms, and I'm like, I don't feel comfortable. So
yeah, exactly.
Stopped,
And I mean, we had the cool thing is we had closed rooms,
Yeah.
so only people that really would come in are veterans and people that respected veterans.
Maybe I'll start up again. Maybe I'll start doing that again. So
Yeah,
talk to us
I
about,
think it's important.
so talk to us about what you're doing today and how we can support your mission now.
Oh, absolutely. My mission right now is, of course, to give back in my real estate business. I give 20% of my gross back to those heroes that I told you about earlier. Um, you can go to sam661.com and find out about that. Also, I just got certified to be I got to make sure, to be able to do charitable gifting of real estate through nonprofits. So, say you have a nonprofit, say Wounded Warriors, per se, or any of the other nonprofits that you have in your community. They can get an average of $550,000 back to their charity through charitable gifting of real estate. Basically, what would happen is I would sell the property. We would find a nonprofit that needs that money, right? And you think, okay, Girl Scouts, they go and sell cookies. Think about if they didn't have to sell cookies and they could just get a gift of real estate, $550,000. Think about what that would do for Girl Scouts.
Yeah.
There's 9 billion in money going to nonprofits across the country through real estate, through the gift of real estate.
I've
So,
never heard of that. First time I'm hearing it.
yeah, I need to get one of my mentors on this call with you so we could talk more about how we could get people to understand that it's out there, because it is so important and it's out there and most people don't know about it.
Never
It's
heard
been
of it.
around. It's been around since 1917. This tax deduction of 501c3 charities through the gifts of real estate since 1917.
And I've
And
never,
this is, yep.
they don't teach
And
it in they didn't teach it in my real estate class.
no, and this is a brand new certification. I'm one of the first in this area that has it. So my goal this week is to really get out to some of those nonprofits and educate them on the charitable gifting of real estate and that their cause can get money from philanthropists. You got philanthropists in your area that own pieces of property and they want a tax deduction, right? Think about if the philanthropist in your neighborhood could take that piece of real estate, me or one of my partners that does the charitable gifting of real estate would sell that property and the charity would get the money from the sale of that real estate. And the philanthropist would get the tax deduction like he wants.
So it's a win-win.
It's a win-win. The charity gets the money from the house, so say $550,000, and they don't have to do drives and they don't have to do whatever they're doing and maybe make $50,000 for their charity. Maybe $100,000 for their charity. And that's one of those like that's one of the really big charities that get $100,000.
Yeah.
I mean, a couple houses a year. Think about what Wounded Warriors would be if a couple houses a year was sold and the nonprofit was Wounded Warriors. Think about how many soldiers we can help through that and other very important charities in our community. There's lots of veteran charities out there. My daughter has autism. There's charities for special needs.
Me too.
Do you?
I got an autistic child too. So yeah.
So I mean, think about if we could take charitable gifting real estate and educate our public on this is real. This is something that, and it's a win-win. It's a win-win. Nobody gets hurt,
I
and
love it.
everyone wins.
So now, say if there's a guy, like I said, my perfect listener, his age is 29 to 45.
Yes.
Now, they may be retiring or getting out of the military. and maybe they want to get into real estate. What are some of the things they should look for, or some of the
Mhm.
things they should not look for?
First of all, know what you want to do. Know what you want to do in real estate because there's so many different things. You can go commercial, and EXP Realty has commercial. We have a commercial division. They can go residential. Um, if they want to do multi-units, they could do that. There's a lot of people out there that maybe don't have a real estate license or maybe don't want a real estate license. You can do real estate like wholesaling. There's all sorts of incredible things you can do in the real estate business. I advise people to get a real estate license. First of all, you can refer to other agents in other states, so you have another way to make income, and then you can take that money and you could buy wholesale real estate, and you have the knowledge of how the real estate business works by getting their real estate license because it's important to understand those things.
And doesn't it behoove you to be able to also get the first peek at the MLS, and then
Oh
also
yeah,
that you find out what properties are in distress?
absolutely. Yep. You that's one of the really cool things that you get to know the coming soon listings. We get coming soon listings, so we get to look on the MLS and see coming soon listings. They can't be shown yet, but you understand what's coming. Then of course, there's a lot of really positive things, and actually you can have them go to partnerwithsamsilver.com, and that's my mentorship group, and we walk you all the way from signing up with EXP and becoming one of my partners to getting your business cards, to getting your signs, to understanding the process, to understanding the steps. There's steps and systems in becoming successful in real estate, and we have an incredible mentorship group that helps you get to your next level. I capped out this year, and what capping out is in EXP Realty there's 16,000 cap, and when you hit that 16,000 cap, then you get all your money. You're not paying you're paying a very small portion to the brokerage. But all of my transactions the rest of this year are in my pocket. So it was 80-20, and everyone comes in at 80-20, so it's fair. It doesn't matter if you're top producer or nothing. 80-20, you cap out 16,000 back to the company, you're at 100%. Then when you hit another level, you get your stock. You get your 16,000 back in stock to be an icon. So right now, my goal is by July, I'm going to be icon. And I'm speaking this to the world. By July, I will be icon. So if you're out there, help me get there.
Question to ask, because in with any job profession you have, there are always the top producers
Yes.
and then the bottom feeders. And because I know, I'm not at the top of my podcast game yet. Jocko's still number one, so I'm still going for number one, but I'm not at the bottom.
You're after Jocko, huh?
So,
Wow. You're awesome, man.
so now what are some of the traits that you see of the top producers in your industry?
Top producers, they keep track of their clients, their past clients. They keep in contact with them. They're consistent with their follow-up. Systems, they use systems to help them to do the things they need to do every day. They have systems. They delegate. They know how to delegate what they don't want to do, what they're not good at, and they automate. So they learn what the automation is out there, and they automate the processes to help them stay in front of their clients. And also, it always helps to understand how social media works, and understand it. You need to understand how social media works. You need to understand how what to put on social media. You need to take classes. You need to be consistently learning, because the real estate market is constantly changing. And we have we roughly 50 classes a week we have at EXP World, that if there's a new agent out there and they don't know what to do, all they have to do is connect into one of our classes at EXP World, and they have enough information to go out and do it today. Also, I do a podcast too, Richard. I do a Newly Licensed Now What podcast. And
how do we find that? What's the name of it, and where's it found?
You can go on my Facebook. I created a Facebook group called Newly Licensed Now What. And then in my workplace, if you're at EXP, go to Newly Licensed Now What. And I think and then I did a Clubhouse Room. I do Clubhouse Rooms titled the same thing, Newly Licensed Now What. Like today is Monday, so it's Mindset Monday. And we talk about mindset. Your weekend's over. Maybe you had some successes this weekend showing houses. Maybe you didn't. But how do we protect our mindset on Monday morning when the news media is out there to give you all the negative stuff? They just want to give you the negatives. The stock market's down. No, don't listen to that. What is your mindset, and how do you protect it on Monday morning? And that's one of the things I do themes for each day. Like Monday is Mindset Monday. Tuesday could be just, Tips Tuesday. Wednesday could be Winning Wednesday. Thursday could be Thankful Thursdays. Friday as you go through what your successes for the week are, and how are you going to reward yourself.
I was just going to ask you about that, because one of my friends wrote a great book called Atomic Habits. His name is James Clear. And one thing that he talks about, and I think not enough people do it, is they don't celebrate their wins enough, or they celebrate their wins too much. Because that's why you never usually see a Super Bowl champion repeat, because they won the championship and they get fat, dumb, and happy, and then the next year they're not going to make it back. Because now, like I had a friend of mine, his name is Rich Davini. He wrote a book called The Attributes, and one of the things he talks about, he says, when you're in war, if you lose a battle buddy, you're going to grieve, but you're only allowed 3 minutes to grieve. Or if you're in a battlefield and you take a hill, you're allowed 3 minutes to celebrate. So I think if we can take that into our lives, in business especially, if you have a win, great, let's celebrate it.
Absolutely.
If you have, and then move on to the next win. But a lot of times when we have a loss, it can totally destroy a person, because they think that losing is, I tell people that if you lose something, it doesn't mean you're a loser. It's just something that happened. You know what I mean?
It's an event, and if you could fail forward, and there's a great book called Failing Forward. I advise people to get it, because it's eye-opening. Because you think about how many people's successes, you look at your Elon Musk or your Jeff Bezos, they failed a lot before they got their successes. They failed a lot. You have to look at how many papers they wrote, how many white papers they wrote, this wasn't overnight. They worked on this a long time. Steve Jobs worked on it for a long time. Apple was not the product to buy a long time ago. It wasn't. Nobody liked Apple. Nobody wanted to use it. It was clunky. Nobody liked it. But now so many people are using the Apple products because they got through their failures to create the successes. So Failing Forward is a great book. It talks about successes and people that have failed. And we all have. I mean, I've failed. I've done some stupid things in my career. The thing is to take those failures and to learn from them. The definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. and learn from your mistakes. Yes, I screwed up. I screwed up. What am I going to do? What lesson am I going to learn from that? Write it down. Write down, yeah, I screwed up. This is what I did. And then focus on how to make it better, how to do this. Never say, I can't do something. Turn it around. Say, how can I do this? Because when you write down how, your brain takes over and starts trying to figure out how you're going to achieve what you're going to achieve. And just like hows, I use I am statements. I am successful. I am motivated. I am focused. I am the top in my area. I am statements are speaking to your subconscious, speaking it into existence. So, sometimes I do on my show, I do I am statements because we all need that.
Yeah, I get it. So last two questions I have.
Sure.
Where do we find you? How do we find your podcast? How do we find you? Obviously, you're big on LinkedIn. I looked at today. You have like 11,000 connections on LinkedIn. So I'm kind of jealous. So because I see that you're moving around, moving and grooving. So how do we go and find you?
You can actually, you can Google Sam SilverHomes. If you want to find me, Google Sam SilverHomes. All of my stuff is there. You can go to sam661.com if you want to know about what I'm doing. All my social media is there. The little link above my head, you can scan that puppy. It's been up there like the whole thing, and you can stop this video and you can scan it. It should work. Usually it does work. One of my mentors scanned it while I was talking to him one day. He's like, "Hey, that is so cool."
Yeah, that is. I've never seen that. That's the first time it's ever been done on the show.
Yeah, it's a digital business card. So one of my friends, he goes by 10K. This is a 10K digital business card. It's awesome. You can put everything that you have that for sale, whatever you're doing, you can put on this 10K business card. So actually, if you scan that, go down to the bottom, you'll see 10K business card. You can get one of your own.
That's pretty cool.
It's awesome. So I appreciate you, Richard. This is so cool.
All right, but I got one more question to ask you.
Got it.
I asked 1,000 people and I get 1,000 different answers.
Sure.
We're living in a COVID world, and I interviewed one of the Iron Chefs last week, and he was talking about how we've lost over 100,000 restaurants in the United States in the last 2 years. So there's a lot of parents out there driving Uber, DoorDash, just trying to put food on the table. So if I ask the average American to do something in 7 days, they're probably never going to get to it. But if somebody's listening to us right now and we ask them to take an actionable step in the next 24 hours, they're more than likely to do it. So if somebody right now is struggling with the decision, should I get into real estate? Should I not get into real estate? What can they do in the next 24 hours, maybe to get some clarity on it?
First, they can contact me. They can go to either the 661-418-REAL, 661-418-7325, and call me. I mean, I would love to talk to you about where your goals are, what you're doing, where you want to head, because real estate might not be for you. You may want to come and you may want to do short-term rentals. You may want to do wholesaling. I mean, there's so many things that you could do in real estate. It's not always about a real estate license, but I'd love to talk to you about it. Actionable steps. Go to partnerwithsamsilver.com. Partnerwithsamsilver.com. There's my team. That website talks about why people are leaving their brokerages. It's not just, they're leaving brokerages for a lot of reasons. And I'm seeing all around my community, a lot of the top agents are coming to EXP. I mean, take a look at, Grant Cardone and his wife, Elena Cardone. Why would they come to EXP? Why? You got somebody that's a multi-billionaire that sees the opportunity, that sees the multiple streams of income and coming to EXP. and, you know, go to partnerwithsamsilver.com, and I would love to talk to you further about what you want to do. And you veterans out there, I love you. I love you. And I would love to help you become successful if you want to do the real estate business. And I love heroes out there because they're focused, they're motivated, and they say, what do I need to do? And do it.
Yeah, that's
And
one thing I think we learned, and we learned, even if you just spend 30 days in the military, you know what an SOP is.
yep,
You just tell me what to do, and I'll do it. And I think
absolutely.
for me, it's a lot easier. You know, like I took some courses on podcasting where they actually break it down Barney style. All right, do this, and do this. You'll get this. I could do that.
There you go.
So,
Systems.
yeah, systems. All right, guys, definitely check out Sam. We met on Clubhouse almost maybe over a year now.
Yeah, it's over a year because I just had my anniversary January like 3rd or 4th. I had my anniversary for the year. So yeah, it's been over a year now.
So maybe me and you we'll do a room together. You know,
Absolutely. Let's do it.
To get some of the heroes into the market. Guys, thank you so much for always coming on. If you get a chance, check out the new coffee. Check out the new hat, the new t-shirt. And as you guys know, 22% of all proceeds go to help veterans that are struggling with PTSD and homelessness. So we're always giving back. We're always paying it forward. Sam, I just want to say, brother, thank you so much. And it's been an honor to have you on today.
It's been an honor to be here, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys. And remember, vertical momentum, the only way to go is but up. I will catch you guys on the flip.